Tonight, you're already aboard the ferry. There is nowhere you need to be. Nothing you need to finish. Nothing you need to solve. The day has ended. The lights are low, and the water rests quietly around the hull. The ferry moves steadily through the night, slow, unhurried. Each night, it travels from one floating village to the next, carrying letters, carrying supplies, carrying small, quiet moments between distant lantern lights. There are no clocks to watch here, no storms to outrun, only soft water, warm light, and steady movement beneath your feet. Small sounds drift past and fade away. Wood settling, water brushing the hull. Nothing asks anything of you. Nothing needs to be remembered. Your breathing slows on its own. In, out. In, out. And the ferry continues forward through the calm night. The Floating Village Ferry, Episode 6. The Village of Laundry Docks. Tonight, the ferry moves through a quieter stretch of open water. Long, gentle swells pass beneath the hull. Not waves, just a slow lifting and settling. The deck rises, then lowers again. Easy. The air feels cooler out here. Open, carrying the faint scent of clean linen and soap. Above, the clouds have thinned, a few stars showing through. Dim, unhurried. The engines hum low and steady beneath your feet, soft enough to blend with the water. At first, there is only darkness ahead, wide and empty, nothing fixed. Then shapes begin to gather in the distance, low outlines resting on the tide, wooden platforms connected by narrow docks. A small floating settlement comes into view, lanterns spaced far apart, windows dim and sleepy. Most of the village appears settled for the night. Still, quiet. Then something pale shifts between the lanterns. Not smoke, not mist. Something softer, moving gently in the air. The ferry glides closer. The shapes grow clearer. Long lines stretched between tall posts, ropes running from dock to dock. Cloth hangs from them, wide sheets, loose shirts, lengths of linen swaying slowly above the water. They move together, forward, back, like a slow breath passing through the docks. Lanterns hang low along the walkways, their glow warm and amber, shining through the fabric. Each sheet becomes a soft square of light, blurry at the edges, gentle. Reflections drift across the water below, broken shapes of gold and cream, stretching, then gathering again. The ferry follows those quiet lights, without hurry, without effort. The engines lower their tone slightly. The vibration beneath your feet softens, becoming part of the night air. You lean on the rail and watch the cloth move, corners lifting, settling, lifting again. No sharp sounds, only the faint brush of fabric against fabric. Brush, rest, brush, rest. The docks draw nearer, wooden posts rising from the water, lines tied neatly between them. A few round tubs sit beside the walkway, filled nearly to the brim. Water inside barely stirring. Everything looks prepared earlier in the evening, left in order, waiting quietly for the night's slow work. The ferry continues its gentle approach, cloth drifting overhead, lantern light glowing through the folds, and the whole village rocking together with the tide. Docking is close now, but there is no hurry. There never is. The ferry eases toward the nearest platform, not guided, not steered, just drifting the last few feet on its own weight. The dock waits quietly ahead, wide boards laid side by side, edges worn round and pale with time. A lantern hangs from a short post near the corner, its glow small and steady, light pooling softly across the wood. The reflection trembles faintly below, then smooths again. The engine tone lowers, the hum thinning out beneath your feet, until it feels more like a memory than a sound. The ferry coasts the final stretch, slow enough to watch each inch pass. Wood draws close to wood, shadow touching shadow. Then, a gentle meeting, a quiet wooden tap, barely louder than cloth settling. For a moment, everything is still. Then the ferry and the dock begin moving together, rising, falling, keeping the same slow rhythm. A coil of rope rests near the rail. Thick fibers, softened from years of use. You lift it and pass the line across. It lands without a sound, looping once around the post, then twice. Pull, snug, rest. Another line follows, then another. Each knot simple, certain, familiar. The ferry settles into place, held gently against the boards, secure. Nearby, a row of wide wooden tubs sits along the dock, round and low, filled nearly to the brim. The water inside each one moves slowly. A small shift, then stillness. A folded stack of cloth rests on a bench. Pale fabric layered neatly, corners squared. Some pieces hang from lines overhead, sleeves swaying softly, edges brushing the air. Brush, rest. A faint scent drifts past. Soap, clean water, sun-dried cotton lingering from earlier in the day. Everything feels orderly, prepared before nightfall, waiting without urgency. No voices carry across the docks. No footsteps hurry past. Only the quiet movement of fabric overhead. The boards beneath your boots give slightly as you step forward. Not unstable, just floating. Behind you, the ferry rests against its lines, patient, almost part of the dock now. Ahead, narrow walkways lead deeper between the hanging cloth. Lantern light glowing softly through each sheet, turning the fabric into warm squares of light. The air feels softer here, muted, wrapped in linen and glow. You step fully onto the dock, wood steady beneath your feet, the ferry quiet behind you, and the slow work of the night waiting ahead. You follow the lantern light along the narrow walkway. Cloth hangs overhead in slow rows. Wide sheets, loose sleeves, edges drifting lazily in the air. They sway above you as you pass. Forward, back, like a quiet breath moving through the dock. Brush, rest. A wooden tub waits beside the path, round and low, filled nearly to the brim with water. The surface trembles slightly with the tide, then smooths again. A folded bundle of linen rests on the bench nearby. Pale fabric stacked neatly, corners lined up with care. You lift the first piece, light in your hands, cool, soft from many washings. It unfolds with a quiet whisper, cloth sliding against itself. Rest. You lower it into the tub. The water accepts it slowly. No splash, just a gentle sinking. Your hands press the fabric beneath the surface. Air bubbles drift upward in small lines, then disappear. You lift the cloth again, water streaming back into the tub, thin silver threads falling straight down. Drip, drip, rest. You fold it once, then once more, pressing lightly to release the water. Not wringing, just guiding. Patient. Nearby, a bar of soap rests in a shallow dish. Rounded edges, smooth and pale. You brush it gently across the cloth. Slow strokes, leaving faint lines of scent behind. Brush. Rest. The air carries a clean, simple smell. Soap, water, fresh cotton. You rinse the linen again. Lower, lift, lower once more. The motions are easy, different each time, never hurried. When the water runs clear, you carry the cloth to the line. A rope stretched between two posts, swaying gently with the dock. You drape the linen across it, smooth the edges flat, adjust the corners. It hangs quietly beside the others, catching the lantern glow, turning warm and golden. For a moment, it looks almost like a small sail. Then it settles. Brush, rest. You return for another piece, this one heavier. A thick towel, dense and soft. It sinks deeper into the water when lowered, moving slowly, reluctant to rise. You lift it carefully, water spilling back in steady lines. Drip, drip, still. Around you, other linens drift along the lines, sleeves touching, corners brushing. Quiet as breathing. No voices, no sharp sounds. Only fabric, only water. Only the slow rhythm of hands moving gently from tub to line. The lantern light stays steady overhead. The dock rises and falls beneath your feet, and the simple work continues. After a while, there is nothing more to wash. The last cloth hangs quietly from its line, dripping, slowing to nothing. The tubs sit still beside the walkway, water flat and undisturbed, soap resting where you left it. Everything looks finished for now. Nothing waiting, nothing undone. So you step away from the bench and follow the dock between the lines. No destination, no task, just walking. Step, step, step. Sheets drift above you on either side, wide and pale in the lantern glow, edges lifting slowly with the air. Forward, back, forward again. The cloth moves so gently, it barely seems to move at all, like breathing. Brush, rest. One sleeve grazes your shoulder as you pass. Soft, cool, then gone again. The lantern light filters through the fabric, turning each sheet into a warm square of gold, blurring the world beyond it. Through one, you glimpse the water below. Dark shapes, slow reflections, nothing sharp. Through another, you see only glow, soft and even, like light through closed eyelids. The dock beneath your boots rises gently with the tide, then settles again. A motion so small, it feels like rocking. Forward, back, forward. Your hand trails along one of the hanging edges, fabric slipping between your fingers. Smooth, well worn. It makes the faintest sound, a papery whisper. A row of shirts hangs farther down, sleeves swaying lazily beside one another, buttons catching the lantern light. They touch, separate, touch again, tap, rest. Nothing here feels hurried. Nothing feels heavy. Even the air seems softer between the cloth. Muted, wrapped, quiet. The sounds of the water reach you only faintly now, dulled by linen and rope. Just a distant hush beneath everything. Hush. Rest. Lanterns grow farther apart as you walk. Long stretches of shadow between each one. Light. Dark. Light again. A simple rhythm for your eyes to follow. Easy. Uncomplicated. You pause near the edge of the platform, looking back along the lines. Dozens of pale shapes drifting slowly together, like quiet sails on a sleeping sea, only softer, only closer. For a moment, nothing moves except the cloth and the tide, and even those feel barely there. You breathe in, cool air, clean fabric, then out again. The dock continues its gentle rocking. The lanterns continue their steady glow, and you continue walking. Near the end of the dock, a wider platform waits. Open on 3 sides. Nothing blocking the view but water and sky. A low bench rests beside one of the posts. Simple wood, smoothed pale with time. A few lines stretch overhead from post to post, sheets hanging loosely above the bench, moving just a little in the night air. You sit down slowly, letting your weight settle into the boards. The platform shifts beneath you, forward, back, forward again. The motion is gentle, barely there, but steady. One corner of linen drifts close, then away, then close again. Brush, rest. Lantern light filters through the fabric above, turning the air warm and gold, softening every edge. The glow moves across the boards with each small sway, stretching, fading, returning. You rest your hands loosely in your lap, shoulders lowering, neck relaxing. The air smells faintly of soap and cotton. Clean, simple, comforting. Somewhere nearby, a drop of water falls from a sleeve, a small sound below the dock. Drip, rest. Another follows after a while. Slow, unhurried. Drip, rest. Nothing else changes. Nothing needs to. The sheets continue their quiet motion. Forward, back, forward. Like breathing you don't have to think about. Your breathing begins to follow it. In, out, in, out. The ferry waits somewhere behind you at the dock, tied safely, still, part of the village for the night. You don't look back. There's nothing to check, nothing to do. Only the soft movement overhead. Only the slow water below. only this small circle of light. A sleeve brushes your shoulder again. Cool fabric, then empty air. Brush, rest. The boards beneath the bench rock gently with the tide. Forward, back, forward, back. Time loosens here, minutes passing without shape, like ripples fading into dark water. Your eyes grow heavier. The lantern glows softer, edges blurring slightly. For a while, there is only this: cloth, water, breath, drip, brush, rest. You could sit here as long as you like. There is no reason to move yet. After a long while, you open your eyes again. The lantern above you still glows. Smaller now, softer. The sheets overhead continue their slow drifting. Forward, back, forward again. Nothing has changed. Nothing needs to. You sit a moment longer, breathing slow, easy. Somewhere below the dock, the water shifts quietly against the posts. A low, distant murmur, then stillness. You stand carefully, the board steady beneath your feet, rocking once, then settling. There is no more work tonight. The tubs are full. The lines are hung. The cloth left to dry on its own. The dock can take care of itself until morning. You walk slowly back along the path between the linens. Lanterns spaced far apart now. Pools of warm light, long shadows between. Light, dark, light again. A sleeve brushes your arm as you pass. Soft, cool, gone. Brush, rest. The ferry waits where you left it. Ropes snug around the posts. Hull rising and falling with the same patient rhythm. It feels less like a boat now, more like a small floating room. Quiet, familiar. You step aboard. The deck answers with a gentle shift beneath your weight. Wood against rope. A soft creak. Creak. Rest. No engines tonight. No hum returning. Only the slow movement of the water holding you in place. Inside, the cabin feels dim and warm. Blanket folded back. Lamp turned low. You lie down and let the ferry rock you. Forward, back, forward, back. Your breathing follows without effort. In, out. In, out. Outside, the lantern light glows faintly through the cloth lines. Soft shapes moving across the walls, blurring, fading. Somewhere, one last drop of water falls from a hanging sleeve. A small sound below. Drip. Rest. Nothing else calls for attention. Nothing asks you to stay awake. Only the steady rocking beneath you. Only the quiet air. Only rest. Thoughts drift past like pale fabric in the dark, then slip away, leaving the water still again. The ferry remains tied to the dock. The linens drift slowly overhead. The village sleeps around you, and little by little, the light grows softer, the motion gentler, the night wider, until there is only quiet, only darkness, only sleep. Slowly, comfortably, like floating on calm water.